Good evening. My name is Lynn Southern. I reside at 8021 White Hawk Hill Road in Waxhaw, and I'm here to speak tonight to school funding. I understand that in these tough economic times, the County Commission can't cover the entire school budget shortfall. However, the Board of Education's budget request itemizes specific needs that I've asked you to consider. Included are $6.7 million to reinstate teacher assistants and $1.7 million to restore teacher supplements. These are specific amounts earmarked for specific purposes, showing transparency from the school board. Our outstanding school system has brought many families and businesses to Union County. Union County needs to continue to investing in this asset. Otherwise, the schools will suffer. Without support from the county, our quality teachers will leave for other counties. Teacher assistants are necessary because they reinforce the basics that children learn in their very first years of education. These are basics, these are skills that they will carry with them throughout the rest of their years in education. I appreciate your concerns, but please don't punish students and teachers because of issues with central office. Thank you for this opportunity to express my concerns.
Thank you. Beth Green.
Good evening. My name is Beth Green. I'm from Hemby Bridge Elementary. I'm at 1102 Less Traveled Trail and Indian Trail, and I'm here to speak tonight about school funding. I'm very concerned at the negative tone that this has taken. Everybody is saying that we're working together and as a community, and that does not seem to be coming through to us, the voters and parents and those concerned with the schooling. We are concerned that, money, it's hard, and I understand that balancing a checkbook is hard. However, with the shortfalls that we're already seeing, I don't understand how you can cut $6.7 million in savings for a 0.5% property tax cut that will equate out to $10 to $20 per year for a homeowner, and then say that it is for, well, we could cut non-mandated funds. This is money that we're already paying. No one is going to have an economic boom or stimulus from $10 to $20 per month. We need the money in our education system. Our education system and students have ballooned, and we have not been keeping pace with where we need to fund to remain the top draw in the state. The original line items that you've said, or that has been said, that there had been an agreement for no increase in local budgeting until 2014 is unrealistic. It's unrealistic at a state level, it's unrealistic at a local level, and we have the opportunity to do something about this. We need to fund the schools properly and adequately. We received no capital budget last year, and you know who picked up the slack? Parents, PTOs, people that pay taxes are already footing the bill for fundraisers, spirit nights, in order to pay for things like technology, smart boards, laptops, the basics that we need. Now, money should have some attachments. However, when we detail how much needs to be spent in what areas, i.e. the $1 million that was already earmarked for technology that the County Board of Education chose to give to the high schools as it was supposed to, or lose that $1 million, they were then criticized. I'm not a fan of that, and I vote. We need to stress the importance of education, and we need to be assertive for our children, because if we don't stand up for our children now, and if we do not provide our children with a firm educational foundation, when we do that, we prepare them for success, and we help provide for generations yet unborn. Help us fund our schools so that we can continue to grow and be a place that people want to live. Thank you.
Dawn Moretz.
Good evening. My name is Dawn Moretz. I am a citizen, I am a voter, I am a mother of a Forest Hills child, and as you can tell by my entrance, the drama teacher at Benton Heights Elementary School. I live at 305 South Elm Street, Marshville. My phone number is 980-328-3349. I am available for birthday parties. It is really easy to think that the optimism and the solidarity that the parents and other stakeholders have accrued over the last 2 months is akin to following the yellow brick road. It's a nice idea, but it's not going to get you anywhere real. Well, we're here to tell you in our sea of green that this may not be the Emerald City, but we know that you have the answer to our problems. First of all, we don't want you to think that you're the villains that you may have thought you've been painted as. Even though you have the ability and the power, so if you so choose, to look into a crystal ball and to determine what you like by your interpretation of how school funding should be made, you can make a choice for good or for ill. That power is in your hands. Also, just as Dorothy and her 3 friends discovered that really there was nothing spectacular about the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, they were disappointed at first. They felt like they were being tricked. We have no illusions. We know you're not behind any kind of curtains. We know that you are here in front of us and that you believe in transparency. Well, once they pushed the curtain out of the way, they discovered that there was just a regular man with extraordinary ideas. So, I would leave it to you to be thinking of the following. First, we know that you don't just need to have a big heart for education, you have to feel what is important in your heart for all the citizens of Union County, including the future workers and taxpayers that we are trying to bring up through our local means. Secondly, this is not from a former student, so don't be afraid. It not only takes brains, but it takes clever, critical thinking. You suggested in a recent article that we should be creative thinkers. I think it's pretty doggone creative for us to ask you for funding. And last but not least, we ask that you have the courage to be as bold as our superintendent, as bold as our school board, to be the front runners in public education across the state so that we can brag about you the way we like to brag about our school system. Make the right choice. Thank you. There's no place like home, and there's no place like Union County.
Thank you, Dawn. I couldn't possibly cut off that presentation. I was afraid you was going to throw water on me and I was going to melt. Deirdre Griffin.
Good evening. My name is Deirdre Griffin. I am the UCAE president. My address is 509 Hillendale Street, Northeast in Concord, North Carolina. My number is 704-787-8923, but I have been a proud employee of Union County Schools for the last 5 years, and I really hate that I'm having to follow Dawn. And I just would like to say that you 3 J's don't scare me quite as much as I thought you would. Okay, so good evening. I'm here representing UCAE to talk about school funding. What a surprise. And to encourage you to accept our school board's forthcoming proposal for this next school year. Many people think that we are in the business of educating students, and if we are in the business, it should be our #1 priority. But I'm going to ask you to look at it a different way, because we are not a business. We are not an assembly line factory putting the right information into each student. But I challenge you to think about public education as an apprentice program. This thought came to me just the other day, that we are really an apprentice program, and that we have 13 years to teach students reading, writing. We teach them good social skills. We teach them manners. We teach them to work cooperatively. We help them discover their strengths and their weaknesses, as well as their talents. And what we accomplish in these 13 years of apprenticeship will determine whether these students will be worthwhile, productive citizens, or whether they will become a drain on society. Yes, we need school buildings that are in good repair. We need up-to-date technology to grow globally competitive students. But what good are these things without effective teachers and assistants? As you know, UCPS is eliminating the K-3 teacher assistants in order to pay our portion of the discretionary cut back to the state. These ladies and gentlemen are vital to our apprentice programs. They do so much more than run off papers, do car rider lines, do duty-free lunch, check for lice. They do one-on-one tutoring. They encourage students to become better readers. They help to build self-esteem. They protect their dignity when they have had an accident, and so many other things. These people have homes and families, and for some of them, this is their only source of income. We need these people, and we'll need your assistance funding these positions. No strings attached, just your trust in our school board to do what's right with the money that we hope that you will allow us to spend to continue to be quality schools in Union County. Thank you so much.
Sarah French.
Hi. Hi. Thank you guys for listening to all of us. My name is Sarah French. I am a parent. I grew up in Union County. I've lived here all my life. I live at 321 East Houston Street in Monroe. My phone number is 704-242-0753. I am the PTA president at Benton Heights Elementary School. I'm on the site-based committee there. I'm also very nervous. Couple things that I would like to talk about. I know it's fast. One, what a wonderful opportunity that we have for the county to have the money to help us. Two, I don't know, as a parent, I think that it's just now become evident how bad the school system has gotten in Union County. It's been hidden from us, I think, for quite a long time because they didn't want parents to know how bad it was. Now, all of a sudden, we're getting a flood of information all at one time, and we don't know what we're supposed to do. So, one thing I would like to talk about, I volunteer a lot at the school. It's a Title I school. Most of the children do not speak English. We lost our Title I funding last year. We lost the Moretz 4 program last year. So the kindergarten students that are coming this year will mostly have been in the home until kindergarten. That means that most of them will not speak English. That means that most of them do not know how to button their pants. They don't know how to go to the bathroom by themselves. They don't know how to open a book. I volunteer. I saw a child open a book like this. One teacher, 24 students. How are they supposed to help those children? We need teacher assistants. We need more than teacher assistants, but we have to start with teacher assistants. We have to keep them, and thank God that the county has the money to help us. And I'm willing to go to the state and fight. Hopefully I won't be so nervous by the time I get there. But parents just now found out, and we're going to fight, and we're going to help. We're going to help these teachers. We're going to help the county, but we need time. We just found out. Like I said, a lot of parents just found out about this. We need time. Yes, it's a Band-Aid. But the state is not going to know what hit them when we come. Protect our teachers this year, and we'll do the rest. Thank you.
Just one little point of order there. You're not required to give your phone number, so you can if you like, but you're not required to. Jennifer Stringfellow.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Stringfellow. I reside in Mineral Springs. I have a high school student, and I'm here because even though we think of high school parents now as not being as affected by the need for our teaching assistants, and maybe we're a little bit above the curve where we've not had so many employees laid off, I'm a strong believer in public education. And for me, that means that we have a partnership. It is not just about teachers, it is about our capable administrators, our teaching assistants, the staff that cleans our schools and helps us in the schools, involved parents, which are always a part of the equation, and our elected officials. We've not always thought of school as politics, but it very much is. And schools not only are there to have our children learn, but they affect our property values, they affect our whole quality of life and where our children will end up. So I'm here to ask that you make school funding a priority. From elementary school to college, it needs to be important, or we need to understand that we just can't expect things to happen. We have to invest in them. We have to make sure that our teachers are supported and our teaching assistants are supported. We need to make sure our administrators are supported. And you know, I'm here for a year and a half. One of the reasons we moved here is because we loved Union County. We wanted not to be in the city anymore, and we wanted a place where we thought education was great. So I came here and interviewed schools before we moved, and we decided to come here. Just a year and a half later, the class sizes have grown so tremendously, it's unbelievable. So I'm just asking that you continue to make education your number one priority, that you allow for the additional funding for this time period until we're able to work this out, because education's not going to get better unless we make the investment we need. Thank you.
Sarah Jewell.
Hello, good evening. Commissioners, my name is Sarah Jewell. I live at 1033 Frobisher Drive in Union County, and I have a Matthews post office, but I'm in Union County. I moved here in 2002, like most of the people in this room who have moved here for the schools. We knew the schools were good, that's why we moved here. There's a school right behind my house. I can walk my kids to school. And my son is in 4th grade and my daughter's in 1st grade. And we've been really happy with the schools, but my 4th grader had the same kindergarten teacher as my 1st grader. And the most amazing teacher in the world and the most amazing teacher assistant. But I noticed now when my daughter got to kindergarten, the teacher's assistant's only there maybe a couple hours a day. Now this year I go and I volunteer in kindergarten because I love kindergarten. The kids are just amazing and I love the kindergarten teachers. They're great. And now there's like really no teacher's assistant. There's just parents. And the children are at this level, the children are at this level. Some cannot use the bathroom properly. They have all sorts of different needs, and it's not the child's fault. But their needs need to be addressed. And the teachers do that. But, I mean, you have to make the schools a priority, because there's been a dramatic change, and maybe the test scores haven't gone down, but that's because of our great teachers and our great staff. That's why it's hard work, and they're struggling, and like the teachers' assistants, they have these are their jobs. This is their livelihood. It's a priority. I just wish all the politics would be set aside, all the name calling, all the pettiness. I mean, Union County, everyone should want good quality schools. That should be the #1 priority. I mean, I know you have to balance a budget. I mean, this is a fairly conservative county. Most of us are conservative. But there's one thing to be conservative and then what I call crazy conservatism. I mean, you cannot run a school on a very small budget when it's growing every year. We have more kids coming in, more people are coming. I've lived in other states. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta, Ohio. And all my friends are like, oh, do you love Charlotte? Do you love Charlotte? Do you love Union County? I'm like, oh, I love it. The schools were great. But do your research. Look at the class sizes. See if it's what's good for your family, because it's not the same as it was in 2002. And I'm sad. It makes me sad, but that's the truth. So please do the right thing and fund our schools. Our school board knows what the school needs. It's your job to fund the need. And I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Todd Haynes.
Good evening, Todd Haynes, unincorporated Union County. I'll be speaking on school funding. Bold-faced liar, drunken sailors, elitist, just a few of the names thrown out at citizens and elected officials by elected county commissioners Todd Johnson and Jonathan Thomas. The name-calling and spinning of facts needs to cease. It's time for action. I was asked by Commissioner Johnson after the county commissioners meeting on April 16th in the back of this room to be a man of my word and put it in writing. Guess what? I did just that. I sent a letter to all 5 of you in writing on April 18th, and I asked you to respond back in writing. And to date, the only one that's responded back is Commissioner Thomas, but I asked him to put everything in writing to me, and he hasn't done that. But I can tell you one thing. I am not a liar, but I will boldly face those that attack and spin facts for their own political gain. The time for action with our Union County public school budget is upon this Board of Commissioners. Commissioners Thomas and Johnson, you openly have stated on many occasions you support our schools. Well, now is the time for you to put your money where your mouth is for the Union County public schools. Commissioner Thomas, you stated in the Union County Weekly article on Friday of last week the county is broke. If the county is broke, how are you affording a half-cent tax cut at a time when other things are needing critical funding? In my world, you don't make a tax cut if you're broke at a time when critical funding is needed for things in Union County. The fact is, you have nearly $60 million sitting in a bank account from the lease of Union Hospital to CMC. Commissioner Thomas, you also stated you have no control whatsoever over Union County public schools. Well, guess what? The same holds true for the public safety. You have no control over sheriff deputies. You have no control over EMS and fire departments. And yet, you don't have control of the Union County schools either. And yet, you asked County Manager Cotto to spend time looking at the top 5 priorities that you had public safety. I don't disagree with public safety being the top 5 priority, but guess what? Our schools should be number 1 priority for this county. Commissioner Thomas says that the central office spends like drunken sailors. Well, if I read the letter from Superintendent Ed Davis the other day, I look and I see where he reduced staffing. He saved over $500,000. I'm telling you, what I'm saying is I'm not saying that improvements cannot be made, but I don't feel the Union County Public School central office has acted as Commissioner Thomas has stated. Commissioner Thomas has blasted the school board for wanting to hire outside consultants to review their spending and budget and identify any inefficiencies. You were the one yourself that said that should be handled in-house. Now you want to look at hiring outside consultants to review the budgeting operations of a public school? The schools don't have the staff and time to put all the things that you're going to want in 6 weeks. I'm sorry to say that. This is ludicrous. And on top of this, you now want to distribute or dictate to the schools how their money is spent. This is crossing your authority line. That's not your job. I'm asking you to support our schools, and I'm asking you to go and take the $16 million out of the $60 million you have sitting in an account today. These are your voters, these are your teachers, these are the people of Union County that put you into office, and it's your time to step up for action and to support the schools that we want you to support. They're the number 1 asset for this county. If you don't support the schools, everything else in this county will fall down because of it.